So this is what we're about to do is circling, and what circling is it's a place where we hold space for someone without giving them judgment, advice, trying to help them. This is more sharing feelings and what comes up for the person and sharing impact. And if there's anything that is being said in the circle today, I invite others to share how it might make them feel and what they imagine might be going on. Just feel into your body. Yeah. So, Alan.
Yeah.
I want you to just feel into your body right now. I want the rest of us to just, including Alan, to just close our eyes and just be present with now, with here. What are you feeling right now in your body? As you open your eyes, just slowly open them and let the room come to you. Go ahead and acknowledge and look at the other people in the room. Now, let's give our focus to Alan.
Hello.
And let's imagine what it feels like with this person in our presence.
It's trippy thinking about what it would be like to be behind my eyes.
Yeah, hearing that I feel very curious, and I feel like you would be a fun guy to have a long conversation with. So, Alan, what's present for you right now?
I feel good because I have some nutrients in my stomach, because we just ate a little, which is good. That's good. Feels good. I feel good to have people wanting to hear about who I am, what I'm feeling. That feels good. Yeah.
I feel good hearing you say that. Like, I feel like I can open up more to you.
I guess I kind of got past the feeling of feeling like I don't deserve people's attention, or I feel guilty that other people are giving me their attention. I feel pretty good that I'm like past that. That like I want to give my attention to people when they're being circled, and I want their attention when they're circling me, and then to just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing you say that, I feel like I want to be a little bit more like you, like that. Like kind of like maybe you kind of felt like you've triumphed, like a fear. And like it's like empowering. Like, hey, like I can actually take this in. Yeah.
Yeah, as best as I can, and then keep learning as well on the way, and becoming better at taking it in. And,
What does that feel like? That like letting that go.
Yeah, it feels like conquering something. It feels like conquering fear and anxiety and doubt, which I think are just suffering in different ways. And I think suffering's good at times to help people learn and grow, but I also think if we attempted a civilization without suffering, I think people might actually be like, damn, this is pretty interesting. We might not need suffering in order to flourish, in order to find meaning. So I feel really good having like lived through some suffering and figured myself out enough to like feel pretty damn confident with with the way that I think about this one aspect of fear and anxiety and doubt, just like not feeling those feelings when I get other people's attention. Like I can just feel good both giving the attention when needed as well as receiving it when needed. Yeah.
Wow. And then all that you just said, like there's just this theme of like you're kind of like this energy of like you're sticking your stance and you're overcoming something and you want that to have an impact on the world. Did I get that correct?
Yeah.
Like you want people to kind of feel aware in this way that you are.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be different journeys for people to get to feelings of awareness that are also slightly different as well. But the overall idea of seeing a fellow person, human or animal or even Earth collectively suffer in ways, I think feels really good when we figure out a way to eradicate that suffering and bring more happiness and joy and flourishing and purpose to reality, to both the individual and to the collective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like how you talked about joy, because there's a lot of, I'm hearing a lot of mention of suffering. What is it about suffering?
This is good that you mentioned this, because like especially in the past, like I really want to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's like the hero's journey. I think every individual is going through a hero's journey, their own hero's journey.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are in a state of receiving a lot of stimuli around them, in all different types of stimuli, but one that seems to be continuously stimulating people is the stimulus of like information and feeling and all of its differences. But one aspect of the stimulation and information that people are getting is a feeling of that fear, doubt, anxiety, depression, jealousy, envy, conspicuous consumption, materialism. All these different types of like forces are just pouring into somebody. Like, you can't do it, you can't achieve your goal, you can't achieve your dream, you're poor as fuck, there's no way you can do this. Like that over and over and over again, just like hitting you in the face, and then figuring out a way to just break through that feels so damn good. And I'm not a master at it, I'm learning about how to get better at it, but it's like these vicissitudes, these stark ups and downs that you go through while you're like developing as a person, and also while you're growing a business or a project into the world that you hope to influence other people with. And
I feel stimulated just hearing you talk about it. It's like, wow.
Because you're also in film, you also want to bring meaning and purpose to yourself and to others, and there's totally these massive ups and downs, and especially with individuals that have some sort of further meaning and purpose that transcends themselves that they want to deliver as well. Then there's a lot of those ups and downs.
When you say that, think about being a legend, like leaving your legacy.
Yeah,
like that's something more than just like I'm a human. Like, what's beautiful about that? And I'm getting that kind of like flowing through me as you speak about it. Like, like transcending something bigger. Why is that so important, you think? I'm curious.
This is because like we were born into a world of tremendous flourishing that people have built the economies and the governments and the hospitals and the education systems and electricity and the food and water and all these things that we have, and the internet and computers. And then you're given all of these things because people have worked their ass off to build them into the world. And then can you imagine only consuming those things and not providing at all? That doesn't sound appetizing at all. To me, I want to consume, I want to create on top of what I'm birthed into. They've birthed me into this world that's flourishing so well. I want to take these tools that they've given us, that other humans have built for us, and then I want to contribute to civilization with this as well.
And what are those tools?
The tools are just the fact that you can now connect to the endless source of information that is the internet at the whim of your fingers. I can video call someone around the world. I can make payments with my device. I can access a calculator. I can access email. I can access a calendar. I can access all these different types of services like Uber and Airbnb and all these different things just with the clicks of buttons that people have now built with this internet and computer infrastructure. And like now I can use that technology to have my own channel where I promote science and entrepreneurship and other brilliant people that I get to sit next to and talk to about the future that they're building, the impact that they're making. And like I recently heard my friend Maya do this, and she's so smart because she was at Voice and Exit and she was giving a talk. And Maya started her talk by saying, all right, everyone, I want us to take a breath and go from our heads to our hearts. And she brought everyone to their hearts.
I just want to like feel that.
Yeah.
Like that when you started telling that part of the story, just like, I want us to sit with, what's her name, Maya?
Yeah.
With Maya's breath and just kind of like feel that in my body.
Me too. I want to know if there's some sort of a feeling that I can be delivered through technology, because it's kind of the thing that's always around us, that can just be like, yo, get into your heart quick. And it's like, okay. And then you like get from your head into your heart. And then I just wonder, because right now like the closest thing we have are these like services that are like these apps on your computers and phones that like whatever flash something on the screen and they're like, take a breath right now. These types of things. And
it's kind of like an advertisement.
Like, do I need a shock bracelet around my ankle or something that just buzzes me every 5 minutes that reminds me to get into my heart? Because I would be willing to even try things like that. I'd be willing to experiment with being a guinea pig to feel what it would be like to more frequently realize that I'm overly in my head and that I'm not in my heart enough.
Yeah.
And to get reminded that way, it would totally help me. I think there's already those ankle bracelets that they use with a magnetic compass for pointing north, and then they'll buzz, and then you'll know which way north is. So if they can buzz for me to remind me to get into my heart, and I do that over and over again.
Yeah.
I'd be so down to do that.
Yeah, hearing you talk about that, it reminds me of like the importance of like mindfulness. Like I know you didn't use the word mindfulness per se, but you're talking about like getting into your heart. And as a teacher, like I have students that like they don't really feel the importance of mindfulness. But I'm like, with all the technology, like you said, I could totally relate to your story because it feels like wow, like if you just take a moment to get in your heart, like you can reset your body. And that's kind of like, I felt that instance when you were talking about like just getting into your heart.
And then it almost makes it so that when you're talking to other people, you're vibing with them based on their heart and their humanity and less based on their brain and the idea that they have.
Right.
And then because if the brain and the idea are the thing that you're combating against, then we could lose sometimes the heart and the humanity that we are also just a human, and that we will figure out how to move forward. And if we reset to the heart, it might make it easier to move forward. It might make it easier to communicate ideas to each other and move forward if we move with the heart and less of this like combative in the brain sort of way. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly how much heart and brain plays into that. But just to make sure that I mention this on the way of you circling me, the amount of just it's the craziest feeling to be constantly like the feeling of like you can't do it, just bearing down from all different angles all the time. And then there's like the spark of like I can do it, and then there's another like can't, spark of you can. And it's just this like fucking crazy ride.
What's that can't do it about?
It's like so many different forces, right? There's this force of money and financial, like lacking money, lacking finances, that being a huge one. And then like another one is like people around you that are there's like a couple things. One of this like sometimes you'll get people around you that are not very supportive, that aren't very that and then you try and put those slightly less supportive people slightly to the side and find more supportive people, which is a really important process to get going with and to do that. But then there's also this influence of today's culture, the culture of like, look at my crazy watch or my crazy car or my crazy boat or my crazy trip or look at my crazy amount of subscribers or my crazy amount of followers or just like, and oh, by the way, I'm only 12 years old. And then that also adds on top of it because I'm over double that now. And then it's like, then you have the pressure of age as well, which is like I haven't done shit yet with my life. I have still so much that I want to do and I want to get done. And I think a lot of that missing meaning or purpose, like it would be so easy for me to succumb to the same powers that overtake other people's mental states that make them do things like go kill other people.
Oh man, we could have like 30 more circles about that.
Yeah, totally. That
hearing you talk, I mean, we have a lot of philosophical discussions. I feel like we kind of get lost in some tangents that might be hard to keep notes on. Because
all those forces, the negative ones that you like break through and go on your up, and then the negative ones come again and try and stop you, doubt, fear, anxiety, all these pressures about materialism and social status and money and all these things. If those get too tight, and if there's no way, if there's no support, there's no family support, no friend support, no relative support, no coworker support, no people that love you, that you love, oh my God, those forces are going to consume the shit out of that person's soul and identity, and then that person's going to find a way to break through that is not related to maybe like prospering with business or with a project that they're building, but they're going to find a way to break through by doing something in a state of mental and psychological and physiological and sociological distress where they do something like hurt other people. So I think that aspect of things is something that's just been all over my head recently, especially with how I'm struggling through the journey of building what I care about into the world. And so I appreciate talking about it and
I love
having
your
your
passion
attentions
for it. It's like I feel like I'm going on a ride a little bit talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have more questions and more curiosity, but I think our time's up.
Yeah. That was great. Thank you for those questions and the intense like care to like hear and learn and talk. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For sharing.
I love taking time like this to do this kind of stuff. It just feels so right. It feels like we don't have something else to do. Like we don't have to go run somewhere else and go do something else. It feels like there's actually time to just sit and talk about feeling and emotion and creativity.
Yeah, what does that feel like? Having that availability.
Yeah, having the availability feels like the exact opposite of the political and economic stress that we live under all the time.
Yeah.
If there was an exact opposite, it would be circling.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was thinking exactly.
I was curious, how does it feel for you to talk about this? How does it feel for you to hear your words or hear your thoughts?
I feel like really actualized. Like I feel like I'm taking my life experience and I'm able to, through my gut and my heart and out my mouth, combined with some brain, like be able to talk about it in a way that is me. Like me is actually coming out. And there's like not enough time for me during the normal economic and political crunch that we live in. Yeah. Because I don't like, is it really me when I'm hunched over a keyboard and sending emails? That doesn't really feel as much like me as what we just did. This feels like more me.
I feel excitement in my belly when I hear you talk about like, you being you and having the space to be you. Yeah, I see you.
Yeah. I feel like your laughter and feeling of feeling me makes me feel like I can totally be open and honest and comfortable with unleashing everything and not having to hold anything back.
Is there something that you've been holding back?
God, what have I been holding back? Like,
or like here you have permission to unleash it. What wants to come out?
Well, you know that feeling of like all those pressures that I was talking about earlier that are just coming around you, like an interesting way, like instead of having this mental psychotic breakdown and go and harm people, for me it's the mental psychotic breakdown of unplugging from the technology and unplugging from Silicon Valley and unplugging from the economic and political machine and getting the fuck out of entrepreneurship and out of the Silicon Valley bubble and moving to Hawaii or to Bali or to Tahiti or to someplace on the planet where I can just relax, teach yoga, drink from a coconut, and just be with the earth and be with a couple other people that are there. And this is like a fantasy, right? It becomes like a fantasy that you fantasize that, it would be so romantic and passionate and cool to do that. And then when you get there, and I haven't went through this experience yet, but I've ran a simulation in my head, a couple of them, of what it would be like to do this. When I'm there, I'm not building the future. I'm in the moment there, which is great. And those moments there would be amazing. I can feel those moments, they would be amazing. But I would also not be as focused on this mission that I have of wanting to help civilization out, to help children out, to bring more joy and purpose and meaning to people's lives, to get people excited about building all these different futures that are coming with all these different cool technologies and empowering people. And so I don't feel like I would have as much of that if I left. But that stress, I've been feeling that stress for so long, year after year after year as an entrepreneur, like month after month after month. Like, most people don't know that about me. Almost nobody knows that about me. Only a couple people know that about me, that feeling even exists. And I feel so good talking about that feeling existing, because it's so important to share that is a real thing that people go through in their lives when they have all these forces coming on them, and that instead of having a crazy violent breakdown, that they have like a fuck the system, I'm gonna go run off and go do something else in the world, type of unplug out of it.
As you were talking about it, what caught my attention was the smile on your face when you were talking about, I've been doing this for so long, almost like, I was curious about what was that contrast?
Yeah, it's like
almost like you were like, this is kind of fun, like in a way.
Yeah,
There's
it is.
I'm making up there's something that you enjoy about it.
Yes, totally. Yeah, it's been 6 years now in Silicon Valley in San Francisco, hustling as an entrepreneur since I was 19, since I dropped out of college and moved out here and trying to hustle and figure shit out. And every single like year along the way, there's always been some kind of stupid shit that's happened, that's tried to like all these forces that are coming on to me to tell me like, you can't do it, I can't do it, I'm doubtful, I'm fearful, anxious, all these different things. And like you said, the reason why I have a smile, the reason why, because I know that I'm taking a bunch of responsibility onto myself by trying to make something of this life, of this impact that I want to make. And so because of that, that's where the smile comes from, the smile of like, I really want to make this impact and I love making this impact. And there are times when I spend an hour or 2 hours doing a lot of minutia things that are really not as fun for an entrepreneur to do, the smaller, grainier things, not the bigger fun vision play type things. And those moments are like, and then the moments of like great vision and play and fantastic connection and breakthrough, those are like, you're living in a cloud. And then, you know, the pressures come when you're like, how do I pay for rent this month? And you're like, fuck. So it's very interesting. That's why I continue down the path, because I know that it's going to be worth it. But so many people go down the path, including the potential for myself to go down the path and then fail. And the only person that fails is you, because me, I would give up. If reverse is giving up, I aim to persevere. I aim to continue.
And I am really enjoying your like awareness of both sides, like the way that you see the struggle that you're having in your experience, and at the same time the passion and the joy that you have at the idea of building this vision and the process itself. And yeah, there's a really sweet connection that happens in between those two opposite.
Yeah.
That I'm making up that's what your smile is about.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of enjoy, like that. What I'm imagining is the moment of going up the roller coaster and then like going down, like there's something about this that it's exciting in a way.
Yeah. And that you've identified me as someone that is able to see these two sides of like this, sometimes negative forces, sometimes positive breakthroughs, and seeing kind of like what both are doing to my life and sometimes doing to other people's lives. That you've identified that about me is really cool that you did, because I've made a lot of my life based on being able to hear different perspectives from people. As an independent thinker, as a free thinker, as someone that tries to be the glue and bridge people together on differences, because someone might be right about something, someone might be right about something else, but because we're not being equanimous, we're not being even keel, we're not talking about the nuances or the variables, but we're just speaking about it on such a binary level, people disconnect from each other, they don't even listen to each other, they're not empathizing with each other. And so I really care a lot about helping the parties, the collectives understand that, the individuals understand that, and come together and move forward. And that is something that I hold as something really important to me.
I see that. Like there's just something that happens to your forehead that there's this determination that you have when you talk about what's important. And I get how important it is for you to have this impact.
Yeah, and also just that, like, my vibes go out to as much as I can tap into. So if I can tap into other parts of the earth and other demographics of people around the earth and figure out how to work with them moving forward, I want to do that as much as possible. I don't want to discover ways that leave people behind and that I don't want to discover ways that accelerate only certain groups of people attaining more and other people having less. I want to figure out how to move forward with everybody collectively, and it's I've tapped into the oneness of things a couple times in my life through meditation and psychedelics, and it's been an amazing tapping into the collective vibes of everything. And that also makes me, like, my forehead as well as my heart want to just move forward with people and figuring things out about how to make it a better world. If a child is being born
like that
across the world, like at that speed across the world, children are being born, that every one of those minds that's being born has to be molded by its community, by its parent, by its community, by the teachers around it, by relatives, by its peers that are the same ages. So we got to build a good fabric. It's already pretty damn good, but we got room to get better at it. And I want to be a part of making it better and working with other people to make it better.
I mean, just something relaxed in me when I saw you do this. Yeah. How does it feel for you too?
It feels like I'm finally really starting to understand the brain and heart, like, better, finally. It's taken me a long time to understand it and, like, feel it. And
where do you feel?
I literally feel it in my brain and my heart at the same time. Like, it feels like a really interesting connection. Like, my chest gets warm and my skull gets warm. And then if I can access my gut and all my other organs in here at the same time, I feel a little bit more like I'm connecting all of it, like all the gooey internals can all kind of be a little bit more cohesive instead of separate. That's what it normally feels like for me when I'm at an event, or when someone's at an event, or when two people are speaking at each other and I'm just observing. That it usually is, unless you're at something like circling or meditation or mindfulness training or wherever you're at like that, almost certainly people are using only their heads and talking at each other, and usually not waiting and not listening, not empathizing, and versus when it's connected across, and like you said, like this feeling, it's like it slows me down. It brings me into a more of a state of control over my emotion, control over my feeling, and connectedness within and connectedness outside as well. And I love that feeling of the connectedness on the outside as well. Maybe that's a new, like, prefrontal cortex heart. Just grab them.
Yeah, it just felt good even when you kind of put your fingers on your eyelids.
Yeah.
I just something like shoulders relaxed, and I was kind of guided to do that too. Like, oh, that must feel good.
Yeah, because the pinky pushes down, the palm pushes down on the eyes, and then your eyes stay closed too. Yeah. And then there's this, like, complexity as well of, like, we've been talking a lot about this journey, but then what about when you add a partner to the journey? When you add someone that you love to the journey? That makes things way more complicated. Sometimes people don't have someone that they love to bring into the journey. Sometimes they have someone that they love that they've brought into the journey. Sometimes they're going on dates to figure out the person they want to bring into the journey. Sometimes it's not just one person that's entering the journey. but it's a couple people that are entering the journey with this person as like some people that they love. And love can be both sexual love, it can be non-sexual love. And then how is that affecting you? How is that affecting your heart? How is that affecting your mind? How is that affecting your relationships with other people when you bring someone else into your life? How much are you with that person just one versus how much are you your own energies? And then how is that affecting the outside world, you as together as well as you as separate energies? So are you able to accelerate your goals together? You have goals usually that it can be something about as simple as like cleaning up your house together, or it can be something a little more complicated like trying to provide clean water to everybody on the planet. And how much does your partner and you collaborating together amplify and accelerate your goals? And then the question comes of, is this partner right? Should I continue investing time into this partner? How do I know if the partner is right or not? Am I interested in kids with this partner or not? Would this partner be a good parent or not? That adds a whole new layer of complexity to this journey that one goes on. Now we just threw in the family variable into the question.
Yeah, I'm feeling some like tension in my body as I hear you add this new layer and complexity, and I have some like about you, like having like a desire for you to have that, and a softness and kind of worry about like all the complexities that come with it. And I have like really some care and tenderness for you right now.
I felt both your tension and your tenderness, because the tension's so true with adding that complex variable, and then the tenderness is like, how can we through conversation maybe help figure it out in myself, help figure it out in other people as well through these types of conversations, because it's a really tender thing to figure that out for people along the way. Thank you.
You still technically have 1 more minute.
Oh, that
Are
was
you
2
complete,
minutes.
or?
I feel so complete right now. Wow, I feel so complete. It just feels so amazing to just be able to have people caring about what is being manifested throughout this whole creature and outward. It just feels really good, and I feel like a lot of the things that were coming out were resonating in different ways, and I just really wanted to like unleash a lot of these thoughts into the world, and it feels good to just like we were saying earlier, like the economic and political machine doesn't really allow for time for this type of stuff. So if we can augment the economic and political machine to enable more time for these moments of connectivity and authenticity and transformation, then let's do it. Let's do it.